Severe weather, rain, and some wind all return to the forecast for tomorrow into Sunday morning here in the state of Indiana. I am Ryan, and this is the Indiana Weather Network. Welcome to this YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching, feel free to hit the thumbs up and also subscribe buttons. We'll be doing content like this a whole lot more often in the future, so stay tuned in here if you're Indiana local needing important weather information. Let's go ahead and dive into the forecast. So we have an approaching system incoming from the southwest, develops off to our southwest and Missouri area, tracks our way tomorrow afternoon and evening, and by the time we get to Saturday night into Sunday morning, this low pressure system is over the Gary, Indiana area. But what it's doing with that positioning is it's drawing up a lot of Gulf moisture up ahead of this. But also with that, there's a lot of wind shear with this system as well. It's helping kind of amplify and draw that moisture up and into the system. So it's a very moisture heavy environment, but also a very wind shear packed environment with this system. It'll track off to the northeast up into Canada by the time Sunday afternoon comes around. On the back side of it, it'll be very cold and very windy. Let's jump into the nitty-gritty details on the severe weather forecast here. I want to flip over here to the SPC Day 2 Outlook that was issued here at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Much of Indiana, minus that, we're going to say top tier of counties, and an exception there, a couple halved counties, so to speak. But for the most part, all of Indiana is in a marginal level 1 out of 5 severe risk. So Fort Wayne, Lafayette, Muncie, Indianapolis, Richmond, Bloomington, Corydon, Jasper, Evansville, Vincennes, Terre Haute, any place in between in the dark green color is a marginal risk for severe. There is a level 2 slight risk down here by the Evansville area. We'll keep a close eye on that as that could shift around, perhaps get bumped up further into the state, or perhaps shifted south out of the state. We'll keep a close eye on it. In terms of the specific hazards for tomorrow, number 1, damaging wind up to 60 miles per hour. Per the SPC, that brownish red color equates to a 5 to a 14% probability of seeing a damaging wind gust within 25 miles of anywhere in that color. So for example, Terre Haute, since you're in that brownish red color, it is a 5 to a 14% probability of seeing a damaging wind gust within 25 miles of you there in Terre Haute. That applies anywhere in that color. In that yellow color, it equates to a 15 to 29% chance of seeing a damaging wind. That's Evansville and points southward. So with that being said, that's your main concern. Next concern here, there is a chance, believe it or not, for a spin-up tornado or two across the state. It's a low chance. It's 2 to 4% chance, again, within 25 miles of any point in that dark green colored area. And the white color up there in the northern part of the state, and also that sliver down there by Cincinnati, that is a less than 2% risk. Okay, so wind primary, cannot rule out a few spin-up tornadoes. Let's talk about the hazards, or not hazards, talk about the radar, the ingredients, timing, and all that. So here is the latest short-term model guidance here. We call it the HRRR model. We're going to run this through into the afternoon hours, into the morning hours of Saturday. We're going to pause it right here. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, sunrise. We have a couple showers ongoing across the Gary area. Those should not be severe. As we push this toward noon, we're getting pop-up storms there. Here's noon Eastern. Here's 1 p.m. Here comes that line we're going to talk about. This is what we're concerned with for potential strong, if not some severe storms. This is 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. That complex pushes up into Michigan. And then we're left with a low-topped, we're going to call it a low-top squall line down here. It doesn't look impressive with the current model guidance, but don't let it deceive you. There's a lot of wind shear out there. It's not going to take a big storm with a lot of reds and purples and pinks on radar to be severe tomorrow. It could be a very gusty shower with perhaps no lightning with it as well. So that's going to push through the state here. This is at 5 p.m. now. Here's 6 p.m., 7, 8, and then 9. And that's going to be the bulk of it as that system moves off to the north and east. But as it does so, it's going to bring up a lot more rain with it for the overnight hours. And that'll continue into the very early morning hours of Sunday. Now, these storms overnight should be primarily just some heavier rain. Severe threat is quite low. Not zero, but much lower than it is during the day. But as we push this into 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6, a very hefty soaking rain for pretty much the entire state here. And yes, there could be a couple stronger storms there as we kind of see this depicted. It's a low chance, but toward that sunrise period, we could see a secondary line develop, especially in eastern Indiana, that could produce some gusty winds within it as well. So putting it all together, we do have the latest guidance here talking about a heavy soaking rain for a large portion of the state. This is the rainfall map, by the way, going into that Sunday evening time frame. We're going to see this. The bulk of it stays to the north of Indianapolis here. By the time we get to Sunday evening, much of the state is between ½ inch to as much as 2, perhaps 3 inches in spots. And this is just one model. Other models are depicting a lot heavier amounts for a widespread area here. For example, the NWS forecast has gone a little bit more aggressive here with a wide swath of 1 to 2 plus in the north half of the state, and the south half of the state about 1 to 1.5 inches of rain. If you're down by Kentucky, you could be inching into about ½ inch to an inch. Overall, takeaway from this, it's going to be nice and soaking by the time we get to Sunday afternoon. We could see some localized flooding with this system as well. Finally, one more thing to talk about is the wind with this system. It's going to be pretty gusty in nature as the system moves through. We're going to see gusts throughout Saturday start to pick up there, right between, we're going to say 20 to 30 miles per hour in that range sustained. But then we see that line moving through. This is the increase, that line as it pushes across the state. We're seeing wind gusts in that line 50 or so, perhaps 60 miles per hour, hence why we have that low end risk for some severe weather. That's going to push across the state, and that will move into Ohio, eventually into Michigan and Ontario. The winds kind of die off there toward the evening hours, but then as the system pushes that rain further north, the backside of it moves in, and then we get some really gusty winds for pretty much the entire state of Indiana, between 25 to 35, perhaps as much as 40, 45 throughout the overnight period Saturday into Sunday morning. That is your forecast, guys. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for an update. You guys stay safe. We got you guys covered here at IWN. Thanks for watching.